Hello once again. Well, sellers pull almost 50% of auctions, 40% in fact, right across the nation. Agents are responding and they're showing a lot of resilience as our virtual auctions start to come to life. Kevin Brogan with the full picture in just a moment. Outsourcing will dramatically improve your productivity and profitability. Sure Agents have created a staffing solution to provide great staff who can perform duties in property management, sales, marketing and administration, and at a fraction of the cost, giving you and the team more time to spend on the dollar productive tasks. With rising costs and slowing revenue, the focus must be on value for money. Check it out, sureagents.com. Welcome back, and we welcome also Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic. Hello, Kevin. A challenging weekend, wasn't it?
Oh, look, it was on a number of fronts, Kevin, obviously for real estate agents, but also for us in terms of collecting the data in some very unprecedented conditions.
Okay, well, let's quickly bring up the preliminary results because I do want to ask you a couple of questions about it, Kevin. I'll just quickly run through those and then I'll come to you. Sydney, 47.3%. Melbourne, 58.6%. Brisbane, 32.5%. Adelaide, 28.1%. Perth, 30%. And Canberra, 64.7%. Kevin, I wonder at this time, because there's some conflicting reports that I'm seeing anyway, about success rates of auctions, particularly from last weekend. Can you just clarify the picture for me as to how you've arrived at these figures?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do on a normal weekend is we have a look at the number of auctions that have been scheduled to take place during the week. So in this instance, we had over 3,000 auctions scheduled to go ahead. And then when we look at our success rate or the clearance rate, it is simply the proportion of the scheduled auctions that sell. Now, this week has been really quite different because we've had so many withdrawals come into the market. However, the methodology remains the same. So our clearance rate is the number of properties that we have captured. So from the sample that we've captured, which this week is a little bit lower than normal because of the difficult market conditions and the sort of business adaptation real estate agents have had to go through. Any property withdrawn would still be included within that total, so it will result in a lower clearance rate.
Yeah, because there was one state I saw had reported a 90% success rate, which really wasn't a true indication of what has happened. Anyway, putting that aside, can I make one other point just before we go any further, Kevin? And I think we've got to acknowledge the fact that the industry, with only 3 days' notice, showed just how resilient it can be in adopting a brand new, well, for a lot of people is a brand new practice. I know that virtual auctions have been around for a little while, but for many agents, they'd never ventured down that path and now they had to do it. And even with open homes, with virtual open homes, the industry's really shown what it can do, Kevin.
Oh, look, it definitely has. And I think, one of the things to bear in mind is that this was scheduled to be the busiest weekend for auctions in 2020. So with that very short time period, real estate agents had to determine how they were going to scale up, if you like, their online operations. So that's a big ask anyway, but to do it when you're facing, in aggregate over 3,000 auctions is a really big ask. And I think it's important to acknowledge that these clearance rates do reflect not only market conditions, they undoubtedly reflect market confidence, but they do also reflect how difficult a time it has been to try and react and adapt business processes to the new regime.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, let's firstly bring up the Sydney sub-region results. And I might just flag for you too the fact that we're only going to feature one video from a sale this week, mainly because we're not 100% confident that we would actually be giving you the top sale from each state. So we just really want to be responsible about that. But we do want to feature one property in particular. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. Let's bring up the Sydney sub-region results. Northern Beaches, once again, quite robust, even Inner West at 129 auctions, showing a clearance rate of 68%, Kevin. So that's a very good result.
Oh, look, it certainly is, and there are some pockets where we've seen strong results, and as perhaps we've discussed before, where properties have unique attributes and are much in demand because they're unusual, they're more likely to continue to succeed. But it is also worth drawing attention to the collection rates because, we've gone to significant lengths to capture as many results as we can. But this weekend was a really difficult environment, and I expect that these preliminary clearance rates will all adjust downwards as we get the final results for Wednesday.
Yeah, we won't focus too much on them. However, we will move to Melbourne now, where I can say that 66.7% or even 74.3% out of inner south is quite remarkable, and even I suppose numbers reported there would be low as well, around about 50%.
It would, but there was a phenomenon in Melbourne which was a really strong surge of auctions on Wednesday prior to the curfew, if you like, coming into effect at midnight. And so what causes a challenge for the data is that we've recorded all of the results that we can, and they'll be recorded as sold prior. But certainly the data is showing auction dates of the 28th of March, but with a sale date of the 25th of March, because they actually scheduled the auction campaign to end on the 28th of March. But one of the adaptations was that the agents brought the auctions forwards, so they actually sold them on the 25th.
Okay, well, I want to feature a property now, 26 Cook Street at Cronulla, which sold. David and Jody Gregg sold this one from McGrath's, $2,350,000. Let's have a look inside that sale as our feature property. 26 Cook Street, Cronulla is a 4-bedroom home with 3 bathrooms and 2-car accommodation. As marketing agents Jody and David Gregg from McGrath Sylvania point out, other features include an open-plan family area centred around the feature gas fireplace, all-season indoor-outdoor entertaining, and a beautifully designed indoor pool with crafted seating and landscaping. The ground floor contains 3 of the 4 bedrooms, allowing the top floor to be dedicated to a private master retreat. 26 Cook Street, Cronulla, sold for $2,350,000. Well, that was our feature property this week, sold over the weekend. Good story about this one too, Kevin, and a good result for David and Jody.
Yes, so this auction did proceed at the appointed time as an online auction, so it was something that sold yesterday. This property is quite interesting. It was last sold as recently as December 2018 for $2.4 million. Now, what we've seen in Cronulla is a fairly significant drop in the median house price to about $1.8 million. So that's down about 20% during that softening in 2018. But obviously this property is showing that there has been a bounce back from that, notwithstanding perhaps a sort of uncertain future in terms of value growth moving forwards. But Cronulla is one of those locations with an enduring popularity. Population has increased by 6% over the last 5 years. And the average length of ownership is around 13.4 years. So again, once people move in, obviously not in this particular instance, but quite often people do hang on to their properties for quite a long time. Beautiful property, and we're proud to have it as our feature. I want to, just before we go, just bring back up again those preliminary clearance rates. I'll quickly run through them. Sydney 47.3%, Melbourne 58.6%, Brisbane 32.5%, Adelaide 28.1%, and Canberra 64.7%, giving us a national weighted average of 51.4%, and an excellent explanation earlier in the show from Kevin Brogan about how those results are actually amassed and put together. Kevin, thanks very much for your time. Look forward to catching up with you on Friday, and we'll have a look at what's ahead. Anything how's your feeling about the numbers? Yeah, look, I think we are going to see those clearance rates adjust downwards as we get more results in. I think next week, the thing to sort of look forward to is to see how, with a little bit more notice, agents are actually embracing technology and being able to continue to do deals and sell property. I think market demand will soften, buyers will defer decisions, but there are still active buyers out there, and it'll be interesting to see how the industry can, show its resilience and keep transactions moving.
Okay, well, you keep your resilience up too, my friend, as you always do. Thank you very much for your wonderful insight. Kevin Brogan will join me on Friday from CoreLogic as we bring you an up-to-date, the final wrap on the last week, and also a look ahead at the week and what's in store for us. Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic. Thanks for your time, Kevin.
No problem at all, Kevin. It's a pleasure.
I'm Kevin Turner, and I'll join Kevin Brogan again on Friday. We'll see you then.